Can I ask you something, Miss Evelyn? Do you know what her pain is? Because the only reason a person would behave in this manner,
we're not gonna throw this behavior word around again. We're not gonna do that. She does not have a behavior problem, and that's not fair.
First of all, your finger in my face is not gonna work for me.
But the name calling is not gonna work for me. Because I don't appreciate you keep throwing out these names. What about my disrespect? All I have been is disrespectful. I've been called. Wait a minute!
So, what if I told you that Tamar isn't the real problem? What if the true villain of the Braxton family has been Miss E all along? Child, things are getting downright messy in the Braxton family, and yet again, Tamar is in the middle of it. Anytime Tamar shows up on social media for anything, people always go in on her, calling her chaotic and attention-seeking, with a very public reputation for holding grudges. But Tamar isn't letting anyone pin the blame on her. She's even said she's the way she is because of her mother. Well, how about that? For a while now, Tamar has been opening up about her mental health and her healing journey. She's hinted that her mother's resentment toward people, especially their dad, affected her deeply. And that, she says, is part of the reason she still struggles.
Letting your mother run your life.
How dare he try to tell me how to raise my kids after he have abandoned us. He has some nerve.
Y'all have lives to live yourself, and she can't run her life, her home, and your home too.
You know what? Had you been home long enough to help me to raise them, it wouldn't be such a problem. But where were you?
What did
Out
you
there
do?
hanging in the street,
What did you do
doing
all
whatever
day?
you were
What
big
did you
enough
do
to do.
all day long?
What did you do?
What did you do?
I mean, let's be real. Tamar has given us everything we could possibly see or hear from her. From relationship drama with Vince Jr., to beefing with her sisters, to burning every bridge imaginable. And she took it a step further this year by throwing Funky Dineva under the bus, implying she may have been attacked after a night out or, even worse, allegedly slept with some of Tony's men.
Men.
I don't steal anything.
You don't. You stole men.
Who's the man that I stole?
Tony's. You slept with them.
Oh,
a few times.
What man?
You not get the lead.
Dirty low down ass bitch.
Oh, you're such a liar. Such a liar.
It was all fun when she acted this way a few years ago. And it was even entertaining enough to make her the fan favorite during the earlier seasons of Braxton Family Values. But every year, Tamar does something that leaves everyone stunned, and people are getting tired of what they see as her toxic behavior. She constantly says she's on a healing journey, but child, most people think she's only gotten worse, with some even saying, Tamar truly needs help. She's exhausting and needs to be loved from afar. Tamar never thinks she's wrong. She always feels attacked and doesn't recognize how nasty she can be. She's almost 50 and falls out with everybody, and many believe she's never going to change. Tamar being dramatic isn't exactly breaking news, but people have been saying it's better for her to step back now or risk losing whatever good perception the public still has of her. But as always, Tamar isn't letting any talk about her go unanswered. And in pure Tamar fashion, she's out here blaming everyone but herself, particularly her mom, Miss Evelyn. The sisters all have their own bitterness and resentment that they've been holding on to for years, and the only one who has consistently spoken about it is Tamar. This is also the first time she's openly connecting her behavior to her upbringing. All her life, she's watched her mother struggle to let go and hold on to grudges, especially regarding how Evelyn's marriage ended with her ex-husband, Michael Braxton.
Evelyn could say some things out her mouth that are really cutting.
But your daughters are being held emotionally hostage to your ex-wife's bitterness towards you. You and her need to get on the same side of the table and free those girls. Because the elephant in the room that nobody will talk about is Evelyn Braxton's attitude.
I mean, it's been over 2 decades since Evelyn and Michael divorced after she discovered he was cheating. But the amount of bitterness and resentment Evelyn still carries toward Michael is insane. And it has reportedly shaped how Tamar and the rest of her sisters deal with hurt and resentment in their relationships, and even in their interactions with each other. They didn't just witness anger, they absorbed it.
I don't even think they look at me as a sister. They don't like me. We were very close as kids, very close as young adults, and now where we are in our lives, that relationship no longer serves us. And I would hate to keep arguing with them and keep building negative memories instead of building and relying and thinking of the good memories that we had.
Even Toni, the oldest and often seen as the most classy of all the sisters, is just as messy. She's simply more reserved with her messiness. There's no doubt that Evelyn has been toxic and controlling as well. In fact, when she and Michael were going through their divorce, she made the kids pick a side, and anyone who chose to stand with their father got the worst of her. This is why Evelyn and Tracy never truly saw eye to eye. Tracy still wanted to maintain a relationship with their father, especially since she lived closest to him in Maryland, and Evelyn was not happy about that at all. She reportedly held on to that grudge right up until Tracy passed away. But Tamar, being the youngest, sided with her mother in a big way while all of this was happening, and she allegedly never did anything without running it by her first. That became a major problem, and it only fueled the codependency.
Because everything she said she thought was right.
Pitiful lie, too.
And as long as you agree with her, she's fine. And it's the same thing with y'all. If y'all don't agree with her, she is pissed. And it's time for y'all to stop letting your mother run your life.
The way Tamar tells it, it wasn't just the bitterness and resentment that her mom passed down to them. Evelyn also loved the sound of her own voice and always believed she was right about everything. And if Tamar had an opinion that didn't sit well with her, Evelyn was quick to shut it down and expected Tamar and her sisters to fall in line. It's always been hard for any of the sisters, especially Tamar, to go against their mother because of the guilt tied to the constant reminder that Evelyn raised all 6 of them alone after their father, Michael Sr., left home. That was the environment Tamar grew up in. One where disagreement felt like betrayal. And even after 20 years, Tamar says nothing has really changed. Evelyn still holds on to so much hatred, and it often spills over onto her daughters.
Let me know if you're picking up what I'm putting down. So looking at Tina Knowles and her children, and looking at Evelyn Braxton and her girls, it's proof to me that forgiveness or unforgiveness and bitterness can trickle down to your kids. I feel like Tina Knowles is the reason why Solange and Beyonce are able to persevere and press through adversity with grace and poise. I know this is a weird way to put it, but Beyonce and Solange was able to see their parents go through a healthy divorce. Even Miss Tina acknowledged that they did not go back and forth, and honestly, she had every reason to be bitter and not forgive him for having an outside baby on her. And then on the other hand, we can look at Miss Evelyn Braxton and see why her daughters are still on each other's neck in their 40s and 50s.
And people are agreeing with Tamar, because it's easy to see how Evelyn Braxton set the tone for disrespect, and how her behavior may have affected Tamar over the years. Honestly, I think I want to make a list of villains people don't realize are villains, and start with good old Evelyn Braxton. She represents so many of our toxic mothers who raised us to become mentally scarred women pretending to have it all together. The Braxton family has always been toxic, and Evelyn is the main problem. Holding things over her kids' heads and forcing them to stick together despite their issues. Those girls don't even like each other, and Tamar is always the scapegoat because of her mouth and personality. But what do you all think about this? Sound off in the comments, and make sure you hit that like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video, baddies. And honestly, this doesn't just apply to the Braxtons. Many people watching the show have mothers like Evelyn, mothers who believe they're always right, who guilt-trip their children into compliance, who prioritize their own image over their children's emotional well-being, and who refuse to acknowledge how their behavior might have contributed to the family's dysfunction. When viewers say Evelyn is triggering, they aren't saying it to be dramatic. They're saying it because they see their own mothers in her actions, tone, and reactions. This is why conversations like these matter. Because when we dissect the Braxton family dynamic, we're not just gossiping about celebrities, we're unpacking generational trauma, emotional conditioning, and the ways family systems teach us unhealthy habits that follow us into adulthood. The Braxtons are just one example of how deeply family patterns can impact the way people interact, express themselves, and navigate conflict. And now, with more recent events bringing this dynamic back into the public eye, viewers are finally calling things what they are. They're recognizing that Evelyn Braxton was not the innocent, long-suffering, saintly matriarch the show initially portrayed. She is a complex, flawed woman whose approach to parenting contributed to the chaos we've seen play out among her daughters. She isn't a villain in the cartoonish sense, but she is part of the problem. A problem that has shaped her children's personalities, conflicts, and emotional struggles for decades. So now I'm turning it over to you all because I really want to know what you think. Do you agree that Evelyn Braxton helped create the dysfunction we see in the family? Do you think Tamar became the scapegoat because of the way she was raised? Have you ever dealt with similar dynamics in your own family, where the mother was revered publicly but emotionally volatile privately? And do you think the Braxton sisters will ever truly heal their relationships,